Hi, my name is Michael Simmons, President and CEO at Bearing Cybersecurity and Consulting. Welcome to this brief video, Vendor Management under the NYDFS 500. After several rounds of drafts, in 2017, the New York Department of Financial Services, NYDFS, passed its groundbreaking NYDFS Cybersecurity Regulation 23 NYDFS 500 law. The regulation is the first in the United States to require cybersecurity policies and protections for all covered financial institutions licensed in New York. Subsequently, 20 additional states either have or will be implementing cyber regulations similar to New York's. The bottom line is that these regulations are here to stay. They're not going away. The purpose of the regulation is to protect both the financial services industry and its consumers from the rising threat of cyber criminals and cyber attacks. The strict cybersecurity rules imposed on the covered institutions require each company to assess its risk profile and design a plan that addresses its risks proactively. The intent is to eliminate just checking the box, but have a cyber program that is actively incorporated into the organization's operational processes. The regulation focuses on people, processes, and technology, and consists of 16 categories, or what they call sections. Under people, there are 2 sections for a CISO oversight and cybersecurity training of technology personnel. Under processes, there are 12 sections, including establishing a cybersecurity program, policies, pen testing, and vulnerability assessments, and maintaining audit trails. There are access privileges, application security, conducting risk assessments, and ensuring that third parties are compliant. And finally, there are data retention controls, training and monitoring, creating, maintaining, and testing incident response plans, and a requirement to send compliance forms to the DFSS superintendent annually. Under technology, there is a requirement for multi-factor authentication and encrypting data at rest and in transit. Both people and technology are interwoven into processes so that a holistic cyber program is incorporated into your organizational DNA. In this video, we'll focus on Section 500.11, Third-Party Information Security Policies, which became effective March 2019. The regulation requires covered entities implement written, risk-based, and consistently applied policies and procedures for managing the cybersecurity posed by third parties. These policies and procedures must describe how to identify relevant third-party vendors and assess their risks, establish minimum cybersecurity standards, define the entity's due diligence process of third parties, and provide periodic risk assessments of third parties and their cybersecurity practices. Additionally, the policies and procedures must include guidelines for due diligence and contract requirements relative to cybersecurity. These guidelines must address the third party's access controls, including multi-factor authentication, the third party's use of encryption to protect MPI both in transit and at rest, contractual protections regarding the third party's cybersecurity practices, and notification from the third party of cybersecurity incidents impacting the covered entity's systems or information. Under the new NYDFS 500 requirement, maintaining third-party compliance will be a challenge. The sheer volume, diversity, and complexity of third-party vendors will be a clear challenge for many organizations. For most organizations, these relationships include traditional vendors, such as technology, business process outsourcers, hosting providers, cloud, and SaaS providers. But under the new regulation, less apparent providers, such as consultants, auditors, law firms, and even independent agents are also included. As noted before, the NYDFS regulation places a significant emphasis on the contracting and diligence process, including to methodically and consistently evaluate and address the risks posed by third parties. These processes will require a large investment of time applied to each vendor. Further, the new diligence requirements required periodic reviews throughout the term of the parties' relationship. Thus, most covered entities will have to dedicate additional resources to ensure their third parties remain compliant. The third challenge is the definition of non-public information. The NYDFS 500 regulation is broader than what is generally considered under current privacy and cybersecurity laws. For example, the regulation not only includes personal and health information, but also business-related information with which unauthorized disclosure, access, or use, which would cause material adverse impact to the business, operation, or security of the covered entity, is also covered. Therefore, vendor relations that previously were not critical from a regulatory perspective may now be covered under the NYDFS regulation. And finally, the regulation not only applies to new vendors on a go-forward basis, but also legacy third-party vendors, meaning that many legacy contracts which vendors were originally established may now be inadequate under the new regulation and will need revision. You know, the cybersecurity war can seem overwhelming. But we can help. At Bearing Cybersecurity and Consulting, our product, MyCyberScorecard, helps companies like yours mitigate your risks and keep you compliant with the NYDFS 500 regulation. We'll determine your security gaps and a path to cyber resilience. We'll also help you meet all the NYDFS regulatory compliance and filing requirements. And finally, we'll help you create, maintain, and update your policies and procedures. MyCyberScorecard was designed to meet your third-party management needs by providing an easy-to-use interface to manage your third-party vendors at no additional cost to you, providing a platform to easily perform your third-party due diligence before you are contractually obligated, provide all non-public information business-related controls under the NYDFS regulation, and providing a consistent methodology and processes that minimizes your time required to manage your third-party vendors. So let us help you with your NYDFS compliance by showing you how you can embed a cybersecurity program into your corporate DNA that is easy to use, grows as your business grows, and is very affordable. So act now. Schedule a no-obligation demo of MyCyberScorecard with me or one of our associates at meetme.so/MyCyberScorecard and see how we can help you and your organization achieve your cybersecurity goals and objectives today.